So much Solana Airdrop Alpha, SocialFi exploding. Is Kaito the next Tia or Atom of old? Let's find out. So for the longest time, one of the easiest ways to qualify for airdrops passively was to simply use tokenless dexes and bridges. And also for the longest time, the best place to do that, ever since they added Solana, was on Jumper, because you could make swaps on Solana organically. You don't necessarily have to farm this, but every time you need to swap a token, you would go to Jumper and you would use Jupyter UI through Jumper. Now we also have another contender in Kinetic. They're also a DEX aggregator, giving you one of the best prices on the market, but they also have this cute little game, which is kind of like that snake game of old. If you're feeling bored, you're actually getting points for this one as well. And regarding Jupyter, if you still haven't signed up for their upcoming lending platform, make sure to sign up for the whitelist form. There's already more than 1,500,000 wallets registered, but this could be very, very likely important for future Jupyter rounds of airdrops. It is powered by Fluid. And another update is from Wallet Connect. VCT token is coming to Solana, and they're going to be giving some tokens to Jupyter stakers. And another token coming over there is also Doge. Doge is, of course, one of the main memes, and it's in the top 10 of market caps, currently sitting at just under 35 billion. And it's also available on Solana through Wormhole's NTT, native token transfers. Okay, this one is actually crazy. We're getting tokenized stocks on-chain. So imagine a permissionless, self-custodial, on-chain, and most importantly, available 24/7 asset class that is over 100 trillion in market cap in traditional financial markets. Absolutely wild. And of course, this is super risky, super early. It's through a company called BitCrunch. They're actually doing partnership with Kraken and Solana to bring this on chain. But if they actually pull this off, it's going to be amazing. Imagine transitioning or moving some or most or any parts of your stock portfolio on chain and have access to it in a much, much more modern and better way. Of course, nothing in this video is financial advice, and I'm not saying to move all of it directly on chain. We still need to see how this is all going to be played out and rolled out. It is risky, smart contracts and all the other kinds of crypto risks that usually follow, but if we can capture just a small part of the stock market, it's going to be legendary. Of course, you can check all the information about all the links. I'm going to leave the company, their X profiles and everything in the first link of every description of every video. It is always found there. And yeah, just be cautiously optimistic about this quite interesting, very bullish update for Solana. And if we can actually trust Google, currently it's saying that there's 110 trillion in 2023 market cap of stocks. And at the moment it's saying, again, if we can trust Google, it's saying that there's 93% of all stocks is controlled by the top 10% of owners, where top 1% have a half of the market. So 55.5 trillion is held by top 1%. Now, comparatively to crypto, I think Michael Saylor has like 2% of total Bitcoin supply that's public. And considering it's about 60% market dominance, it's about 2 trillion. So let's just say that majors control most of the market. So looking at that, let's say there's like 2 or 3 more people who are not public or entities that hold maximum 5% of Bitcoin supply. So that's still about 80% that is potentially decentralized across a much, much wider amount of market participants. And people oftentimes forget that crypto is super early. We've got like 15 years under our belt. And out of that, last 10 years was when any real development actually happened. And if you want to be super strict, it was actually just last 5 years when Ethereum actually became usable and you could actually do stuff on layer 2s, Solana, Polygon, and all the other market contenders came on the scene. So people outside of crypto really have a clueless idea how actually early we are for everything in this whole industry. So small digression, but very important to understand the scope and the magnitude of comparing this to traditional financial markets, what we have here in crypto. Okay, back to Solana stuff. So if you've ordered the Solana mobile phone, you will be super happy to hear that there's going to be a Seeker SKR token coming for everyone participating in their ecosystem. All the details about this are in their blog posts and on Twitter posts. However, the most important dates you need to know is that the shipping for the Solana mobile phones is actually coming, well, for Seeker phones, is coming from August 4th. And on this note, you also need to make sure that you have verified your address, because you might need to change it or update it because there was some bug on their systems and maybe your address is actually not the correct one. So if you want to make sure that your phone actually comes to the right address, definitely check on the Solana Mobile website. Also, if you still haven't ordered the casing for it, you can buy the $40 for this solid one, and they actually promise some airdrops in the future, but you can also add the casing from the official Solana website. However, this one is slightly more expensive with airdrop potential, and they're going to keep adding new designs, so that's a plus.
Hey guys, we partner with What Exchange, one of the greatest decentralized exchange right now in the market. I love that you can see everything on your screen at once. You can connect to What Exchange from different mainnets, and you can see here the list of hundreds of tokens. They are continuously adding more tokens each week. And What Exchange has an active airdrop. They are going to distribute 30% of the total supply, guys, into this airdrop. So that is why I am super bullish trading here too. You can see here the point section that they added recently, so you can check everything about your progress on this airdrop. And in trading, you can see how many order tokens you earn because they have this payback system from the fees that you pay. Part of that goes back to you on order tokens. So check the link on the description to join to What Exchange, trade on the platform, participate on the airdrop of the 30% of the supply, and also get some order tokens back. All the links are in the description.
Alright, time-sensitive SocialFi updates, starting with Farcaster. They've completely rebranded from Warpcast to Farcaster. They've added Solana, and you can also fund your wallet with at least $10 in SOL to qualify for some future airdrops potentially. Now, we also received a couple from Cello or Cello, however it's called, and from Wallet Connect, but these were super peanut airdrops and not really worth mention, unlike, of course, the main Warpcast airdrop of early 2024. Now, the much more important update is from their Warpcast Pro or Farcaster Pro, and this is launching on Tuesday, May 27th, 1 p.m. Pacific time. This is going to be a $120 subscription for Warpcaster Pro, Farcaster Pro, and you will be able to maybe get an NFT if you're in the first 10,000 users. Now, they've updated this from 1,000 to 10,000, so some common sense is telling me that they're probably anticipating between 3,000 to 7,000 people signing up for this. Again, my common sense could be completely wrong. And if you're willing to maybe burn this amount of money without any real gain, unless you actually want to use Farcaster Pro if you're an influencer or something, then maybe this is a risk worth taking. But think of it like an NFT mint. If you have a whitelist for something and you're expecting to maybe flip it at a later date, then maybe you can burn this or take this $120 risk and get this subscription. If you think that the airdrop from Farcaster is going to be worth anything in the future. However, they have stated clearly there are no any other benefits to this NFT. It's just a collectible, nothing else. But we know how this works. They say one thing, they do another. Of course, the NFT itself could also have some monetary value, so maybe it's not a $120 investment, but 120 minus whatever. Again, super speculative, do with this what you will. Either way, if you believe this narrative still has some steam, you can do some nice 2-in-1s, 3-in-1s with other ecosystems such as Base, Solana, or even Monad. And if you want to talk about the exact strategies, how to utilize your time best in the airdrop world, joining a private community is one of the things that you can definitely consider doing. We talk about many different topics, not just with SocialFi and Solana, but many other ecosystems we're actively following. And the best way to get alpha in real time before it goes to YouTube is by simply interacting with people in real time. If this is what you want to do, then just go on the subscriptions page, and here you'll find all information for monthly, yearly plans, as well as an airdrop tracking application to help you keep organized. Also, the NFT collection doing 10% in yield is back on track, and we have another payment scheduled in the next 20 to 25 days. Alright, so why did we say Kaito might be the next TIA or Atom? Well, the Kaito stakers have already received 2 airdrops, Boop and Virtuals, with about 10 more already announced for next couple of weeks, and the founder also says that there will be much more in the future that are still being worked on. So this is, of course, very bullish for this ecosystem, and Kaito itself has been up only for the last couple of weeks, up almost 4x from the April lows. So if you're planning to get some, maybe do so before the hype around airdrops really intensifies. We all know that TIA has been amazing in the early days of 2024, and those who staked in 2023 have reaped the most rewards, and for Kaito, it should still be early. Of course, TIA is down about 90% from the $20 highs, so let's just hope that this SocialFi hype and mindshare ecosystems just keep going good. And if you're going to do one of these SocialFi things, may as well do all of them. The other one is coming with Spark. This is Cookie.fun, one of those platforms for aggregation of data for AI agents and mindshare from the past, and they've launched this very similar thing that is currently not loading, unfortunately, but it's the same thing. You just sign up with X or your Twitter account and you just post, and this is going to go into some kind of leaderboard for maybe future airdrops. And on the topic of cookie, it's actually doing really well, also up about 4-5x almost from the April lows. So from perspective of maybe mid to long term, if you believe that AI agents still have some legs, then maybe this is a good time to also look in this direction. Also, Virtuals is doing incredibly well, up more than 5x from April lows and just up 15% on the daily as well. And other ones that you can also look at are on the same notion, this GiveRep application, same deal, and the one we also mentioned before is hub.xyz. Everything is the same about mindshare, and who knows, maybe one of these is actually going to be a winner. And a couple of rapid fire updates for the end. If you're farming Linea, make sure to use their new bridge aggregator. If you're farming Caldera, you can mint your Caldera username. For the Mega 8 farmers, you have a couple of these social tasks on X, like liking and retweeting. And if you are familiar with ZkSync, you know that there's been a huge exploit on Cetus a couple of days ago for 210 million, out of which luckily over 160 has already been recovered. But the ecosystem itself and the token and everything is still bleeding very hard. So $4.2 was the price of Sui when this happened, tanked all the way and still going down to 3.5. However, much more alarming was, for example, some of these pools that had most of their liquidity on Cetus, such as Lofi. I remember Lofi went down like 90-95% in the first couple of minutes. So just another reminder how when one domino falls, especially if it's a big player like Cetus, it can drag a lot of the other platforms and tokens with it. So reminder, smart contract risks, exploits, hacks are super serious and real risk in crypto. We will do a full update on Sui in the next coming weeks, but for now you can check out Momentum for some really good APRs and points programs. And that is a wrap for all the topics for today. If you like the content, make sure to like and subscribe with bell notifications on. Any questions, comments, I'm waiting for you in the comment section and in our Discord. And as always, thanks for watching and have an amazing day.